whole theory of longevity as well. Now there's a whole conversation that we can all live forever, right?
Right.
There was some hot mic drop where Xi Jinping said that we can transplant our organs and live for 150 years.
That's right, yes.
Right. So there's this whole longevity science of saying that we can keep transfusing our blood and changing our organs and live forever. Versus, I think what you talk about is that how do you live whatever you want to live in the best possible way. So let's talk a bit about what is your theory around longevity. Is it about living longer? Is it about living better for the years that you live?
So if I had a whiteboard here, Dheeraj, I would draw two axes. On the x-axis going along the bottom, that would be lifespan. So how many years are we living? And on the y-axis going towards the top, I would describe health span. How healthy are those years, right? So on the x-axis, there's a lot of work. I mean, all the tech bros in Silicon Valley, Brian Johnson, Peter Diamandis, Tony Robbins, Ray Kurzweil, they're all talking about this idea of immortality. I mean, Brian Johnson.
Age as a key driver.
Exactly. And they wear t-shirts saying, don't die, right? That's the philosophy, right? I'm not a subscriber to that. I like the idea, and I think our cultural values that we have in this part of the world is very much aligned towards a cyclicity of birth, death, and rebirth, right? And this idea that we have a certain amount of time, how do we enjoy it doing the things we want to, and have a body which is as healthy for as long as possible. So I sort of describe it as healthier for longer. How do we extend the health span coefficient so that the diseases which would typically happen even today, actually it used to be in the 60s, now people are getting those chronic diseases in their late 20s and early 30s. How do we push that out back again so that we're living a healthy life for long, so we can do all the things that we enjoy doing?
I want to probe a bit around the several protocols around. Of course, I mean, so you don't want to use words like exercise and diet and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, all of that is part of what the normal people are hearing, right? So there are diet fads and there are exercise fads and there is, steep walking versus flat walking, right? And there's so many influencers now who are making videos. Some have titles of doctors. And now if you talk to a normal person, right, between all the inputs that you're getting, one thing cancels the other, right? And to normal people, like, if I would listen to everything, I would not be able to eat anything, exercise anything, do anything, right? So how do we reconcile this hyper input, multiple points of views, and what you're told works today, suddenly 3 months later, you realize, oh my God, Ozempic was the medicine. 3 months back, everybody was queuing up for it, and today you're saying, oh my God, it's the most dangerous thing to happen. So, of course, things are evolving, and you can't say that don't evolve. But how do you make sense of what is right, what is not right? Which side of the fence do you commit yourself to?
So a few basic principles. Number one thing that I adhere myself to is strong convictions loosely held. Which is, I look at the data. If I'm convinced by the data, then I'll accept it. But I'm humble enough to appreciate that something contradictory may come, and therefore I should change my perspective on it, right? That's really important, particularly in science. Science is a iterative process. There is no truth in science, right? So that's the first thing. I think the second is that there's nothing which is too good to be true. If it is, it's either too good or it's not true, right? It's not good or it's not good. So everything we see and hear on social media, which is primarily the person who shouts the loudest, has the strongest voice in the room.
Or has the time to make 2 videos every day.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's important. And we'll take you as an example, right? The journey that you've been on. We started with really understanding your unique biological footprint or blueprint, right? What is it about your bloods? What is it about the digital devices? What is it about your imaging? And it's only based on that foundational work can we then suggest, okay, for you, Dheeraj, A, B, C, D, E is what your body requires. Not what Instagram tells you should be doing, not what the headlines tell you, but what your body requires. And then the most important is the closure loop, which is, let's say we give you intervention A to do. I need to be in a position to track that over a period of time using a particular biological signature, what I would call a biomarker, and see whether there's any improvement or deterioration in that. Because if it's not shifting, then clearly intervention A is not right for you, and then we try something else, right? So that for me is very important. I think the personalization can come through data centricity
Yeah.
and longitudinal sort of journey or protocolization so we can
Yeah.
see how people change over time.
Yeah.
And the remembrance that we are all a universe of n equals 1.
Yeah.
What works for Dheeraj may
Yeah.
not hold true for Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that you watch a podcast or you watch a stuff and you can just buy it off the shelf and administer
Yeah.
yourself. That you're not on that theory. You're saying it has to be administered to your specific biological needs.
And even the stuff we'll talk about today, I say it every time I'm on a platform, which is, guys, don't believe me. I mean, do your own science, do your own research, and then if you're convinced, then try it. But make sure if you're trying it, there's a way of tracking it, so that you can see the outcome.
And a spin-off question from that, I mean, we know that I was a cynic when I walked into this program, and I've been a convert, and I've been on and off. I've been falling on, but coming back, and so on and so forth. But lots of changes have happened within me with this whole theory and practice. Are you seeing broad change, delta, with all the body of work you're doing with people, corporates, etc.? Is there acceptance? Is there still resistance, or you think we're still on the surface of this whole?
No. I think there's genuine. So for me, if I think back, I've sort of been banging this drum for about 10 years, plus minus. There has been a monumental, seismic shift in the way individuals today perceive their body and their health. A lot of this was catalyzed by the pandemic, for sure. Because we all suddenly realized how important our health was in our ability to survive that dark time that our species collectively experienced at the same time, right? So that's been a massive catalyst. I think the second shift has been a generational one. Two generational shifts happening in India. One is you have a cohort of individuals who are now entering their early 30s. And they are beginning to see in themselves body changes that they didn't expect. And that's a huge cohort number that's happening. So we're seeing, for example, in the female biology, perimenopause is happening earlier than it is in Western counterparts. And the number of women in the sort of the corporate world who are being exposed to content and being aware of these things, talking about these things. For men, it's around low testosterone values, etc. So that demographic shift is happening there. And also there is a younger group who are super connected online. And there are some interesting behavioral shifts happening there as well. I know cigarette smoking is going down, alcohol consumption is going down, right? So there are some societal changes which are happening under the surface as well. So it's seismic for sure. It's no longer lip service. But now people are in the confused state. Okay, I'm aware. What do I do? Who do I go to? You know, what's the engagement?
Do you buy a pill off the shelf and start having magnesium, or is there a science to it?
That's right.
Where we are.